Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and all of my baggage droppers around the world, welcome to another episode of the Drop Your Baggage podcast, where we talk to people that are dope, that can bring you hope, and show you a technique that can help you cope. I am your host, the self-talk engineer, Charles Woolfork. And if you like this, or would you please give me a favor? And if you're on Facebook or YouTube, please consider hitting the like and subscribe button. And if you're on a podcast platform, give a brother 5 stars and some feedback as well. Now, today we have on a brilliant young man, yo. Like, this guy's been like inspiring the crap out of me and like really motivated me to get my stuff together when it comes to marketing. And that is Darius Benders. Now, Darius is from Boston, Massachusetts. He is in the been in the entrepreneurial space for about 6 years. He played football from the age of 7 on up, and he graduated, but felt a little lost after he graduated. So he met a head promoter of a nightclub, became a promoter himself, and now he's transitioned, helping people promote themselves through social media marketing. He is a social media strategist and helps people generate more leads and increase brand awareness on Instagram. And he just launched his next level boot camp to help others. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring to you Darius Benders. What's up, Darius?
Not much. I appreciate you having me on. This podcast is a super dope platform. I appreciate you reaching out. Yeah, I'm just excited, tell a little bit about the story, get into what we had touched based on.
100%. Go ahead, man. Like, I think your story is absolutely fascinating. Please go ahead and tell the people more about you.
Yeah, absolutely. So like you did say, I've been in the entrepreneurial space for about 6 years now. I started off when I came home from college, like most people wondering what's next, right? Most of us think we just go get a job and, from there, everything's smooth sailing. But for me, it was different. I had came home, I had tried a bunch of different jobs that I wasn't really into. And I realized early on, I wasn't a person, just the way I was built. I wasn't built to sit at a desk, like a 9-to-5 type thing. So it wasn't me, but I have tried everything. I'm talking door-to-door sales, personal training. I had tried a bunch of things, but really the first thing I got into that I actually liked was I went out one night with a friend of mine, and she was in the nightlife industry, and I had asked her what it was like, how she got into it, and then she had just told me, hey, she started promoting, so she introduced me to the person who was running the night, and I spoke to that person briefly that night. Met the next day, talked, and then I got into the nightlife industry. Starting off, like all things, you start from the bottom, earning your keep, building your brand or whatever it may be. So I started off, I'm out 4 to 5, 6 nights a week trying to recruit people, and it's cool, but it's taking a toll on me, right? So now I'm like, okay, I'm going to bed late, which means I'm waking up late, and it's just not conducive to the lifestyle that I was, desiring to go with, to have. So then I got into like some online marketing. I had, taken like a digital marketing course, and I met another mentor who was into that. So then I learned how to really leverage the internet to build my nightlife brand and to be able to sell out nights. So fast forward a year later, I actually started running my own nights. So at this point, we were doing our thing. I was around 24. I had 2 nights in the city. I mean, it was a great feeling. It was good. Then, pandemic obviously came for all of us. So it was a shift in terms of events. Those weren't happening. So I really had to figure how I could take my skills and see how they'd be transferable, what I could do to make money, right? Maybe a side hustle, whatever it may be. But I ended up helping people out build their brands, because people were reaching out always like, hey, I see, you're doing this. Can you help me with this, with that? So what I learned after was when people are asking questions, that means there's money to be made, right? If you're getting the same questions, right? So that's a gem out there for anybody. If a lot of people are asking you something, that means you have the ability to monetize it. But yeah, so I started working with people for free, just, to help friends and family out. But then I started seeing people are getting some good results. People are having like $1,000 product launches. People are really growing and they're making money doing it. So it was pandemic. I needed some money. So I just decided to make an offer and see what I could do. And that's kind of how I got to this point now, being a social media strategist. What I do is I help people how they can come up with content strategies and how they can grow their audience so that they can attract their ideal clients to build their brand. Because we're all in it to make money. At the end of the day, we have passions and we love what we do, which is why we do what we do. But we do need money to live. So that is a factor in our business model. So that's a little bit about me and how I got to this point.
Amazing. All right. So I got some questions for you. What was your major?
I majored in communications with a minor in psychology.
Dude, that's like perfect for marketing.
I know, right? It's so crazy because in college, it was like, I don't know if I should say this, but the reason I switched to communications is because I played football and it was just a lot. Like I was never like the greatest student. So like, I just wanted like the easiest degree so I could pass because you have have a certain grade point average. But communications was great. And I think like in life, like no matter what field you're in, communications is key. And even psychology, like dealing with people from different walks of life, like, learning why people's behaviors are the way they are. So it's definitely transferable.
100%, 100%. I have my minor in mass communication. I went to school to be an educator, but
Nice.
man, like, what do you see are some of the things that you learned from college that you use in your business today?
Yeah, absolutely. First and foremost would just be, I mean, we just say communication, but like the way you talk to people, like people don't realize just knowing how to communicate with people can make you a lot of money in itself, right? Because if someone gets a certain feel for you, like that you're a certain type of person, you're relatable. We talk about in business, like anytime you're attracting clients, it's about building know, like, trust, right? So that like factor, if we have a conversation and we realize, okay, this person's someone that, they seem a certain way, whether it's like inspirational, motivational, or they just seem like someone I'd want to build with or whatever it may be. That's something that's very important in business. So I would say communication has definitely been major. And in psychology as well, like we talked about, like behaviors, learning why maybe certain people are in positions they're in, how they can improve. If someone has like self-doubt when it comes to business, that's going to be super important. So we have to build up your confidence. So just knowing how to go about that is super transferable as well. So I would say those two skills definitely are beneficial.
Beautiful. That's what's up. What did you learn from the promoter, that head promoter that you met back in the day?
Yeah. Definitely learned like that grind mentality, which is cool because coming from sports, I kind of had that. I already had that, but just seeing it transfer into like business, that was like the first time I had seen it. And I'm like, okay, this is kind of like sports. You got to put in more work than everyone else if you want the results that people aren't getting. So that's what I had learned. And then certain strategies, obviously him being a vet, he had showed me some things like this is how you build a team. This is how, you do payouts. This is how you make sure that you can get people to come 4 times a month. You got to get X amount of people on your list so that you can get people to come out consistently. So
yeah. You can't just skim over that like that's not a gym. That's a gym right there. So you're talking about being a leader.
Absolutely.
So what were some of the main principles, some of the main things that he taught you to become a better leader within that industry?
It comes from your confidence, right? Because when I first got in, I was the youngest guy. And when you're young, telling people who are older than you, things to do, it's just part of business. But if you don't have that natural leadership or that confidence, people aren't going to believe you. Like people can feel it when you're not confident, right? And I'm talking about like a true confidence, not just like, oh, I'm saying I'm confident. But like a true confidence. And that comes from preparation and then competence, right? Understanding how things work. So that was real big in terms of leadership. Learning to be authoritative, but not arrogant, right? So like having that balance so that, again, we talk about know, like, trust. That was something that was very big. And I think when you do that and you lead by example, most importantly, then people will follow, right? Because when people see your grind in anything they're doing, like you have a team, if they see you grinding, they're more likely to grind versus if you're kind of being lackadaisical, maybe you're, haphazard, then the effort is going to be reciprocated. So that was definitely something that came from that was real helpful.
So you used your skills of communication and rapport to help motivate your team due to you probably being a natural leader as a football player and being the type of leader on the football field that show people, how to do, like led by example instead of the rah-rah type.
Absolutely.
I love it. I can, of course, I mean, like I was the same type of dude. But of course, like I'm goofy though too. So like that rah-rah type of stuff really got me going. That's why E.T. the hip hop preacher really resonated with me in such a great way.
He's essential. E.T. is the man right there. 5 days a week, I got to get at least some, 15, 20 minutes of Eric Thomas. So that's a big one right there.
Yo, you think you're doing good until you hear some ET and like, oh no,
you're I ain't doing nothing. Exactly. Yeah.
Shout out to ET. Okay, so you mentioned having a mentor twice. What's the importance of having a mentor?
Absolutely. Having a mentor is everything. Like I tell people all the time, like, and I think people sometimes maybe misunderstand what a mentor is. A mentor is basically, it's just someone who has been where you're looking to be, right? So when we talk about like getting things done efficiently, right? So we can Google, we can YouTube our way to like a result, but what is the time it's going to take you? So when you have a mentor, what you're doing is it's like having a fast lane pass, right? You get to skip the shortcuts. You get to skip a lot of the mistakes that they've made. So I think it's super important in anything you're doing, whether it's business, Talk about sport in sports, right? You play football, you had a coach your whole life, right? Because the coach is supposed to make your trial period or your journey easier. You know what I'm saying? So I think mentorship is super essential.
How much do you think that you have made because of you having these mentors over time?
Oh, a lot of money. Like I'm talking about, and it's a humility thing, right? Because a lot of times, like we think, like, oh, a mentor, like I don't need that. And I was like that at first in terms of like the mentor I had in my first business was like, okay, you can work for me, you can make X amount of dollars, which wasn't a lot, but you're gonna learn from me. So I always had the mindset where it's okay, if I can learn the information, then I'm gonna be gold. So for 9 months, money wasn't what I wanted it to be, but with the information I had learned, I was able to go on and make a lot of revenue just based off the information that I learned, because I wasn't too arrogant to say, okay, I'll sit down and take maybe not as much money for these first 9 months. So,
man, a good leader is also a good follower as well.
Absolutely.
So you said that you ended up scaling up in order to run your own nights as a promoter. So how was that process? Like, of course, everything has a process. You got to trust the process. Like, kind of tell me about your personal development journey and your emotional, spiritual. Like, tell us about that journey with you, like going from level 1 to then becoming more of a boss.
Yeah, absolutely. The journey, it was great. We talked about like that humility and having to really stay down during those times where you're not getting the desired money or what you think you deserve. But long term, it was great because what it allowed me to do was scale up very fast in terms of going from working for someone, not making what you think you deserve, but being able to go right into running not only one whole night but your own whole night, because most people, they won't make that initial sacrifice in, oh, I'm gonna take a way less money, because instant gratification sort of takes over, right? Which is, sometimes we're in survival mode. We're in, well, I need to pay bills, I need to do this, but understanding that like if you can get through that time, you're gonna be gold. So that transition that next year was amazing. That next year and a half, we had we did really well. I'll say it was just great. It was full of a lot of life lessons in terms of, you talked about having like emotional intelligence, because what I learned in that first like 3 months was you can be on a high, right, where everything is going great. And when you're young and you're on the high, like you might feel like, man, I'm the man right now, like everything's sweet. But just as you can take those wins, those losses come. And when they come, they can come like an avalanche, like, right? They can just all come at once. So I learned a lot of life lessons in that first year doing my own thing, about highs and lows and how to adjust. And when you're young and like coming from never had a lot of money, you don't really know what to do with that money at first, right? You're financially maybe irresponsible. Like you're getting money, but you're like, oh, we're like, okay, I could go out 3-4 nights a week now. I could take so-and-so to that restaurant she like, or I can do whatever it is. But what happens is, life is an everlasting cycle, right? So, when pandemic came, things aren't moving how they was. So you have to adapt and you have to adjust, and all that revenue you had made, if you didn't do what you needed to do with it, right? And I was saving, like I wasn't an idiot. I wasn't just throwing it all away, but we could have done more with it. But being able to pivot was an adjustment, especially at first, those first 3 months. I'm like, what am I going to do? I haven't done anything else. But it was cool. I'm the type of person coming from a sports background similar to you that we kind of understand like tough times come in life, right? So you're going to have to pivot. So just really switching into the lane I'm in now, it was cool. That's when I, again, found another mentor. And I'm a person who, before I go into anything, I like to learn it, because I understand like it's going to cost you a lot not to have that direction. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so, 100%. Like and it's not about as far as charging the people, it's about the missed opportunities and the mistakes that you make.
Absolutely. You're charging for the mistakes that you've made so they can eliminate those, right? People often think times like, what are you charging for? I'm eliminating all the mistakes you're going to make. So that's a great point you made.
Yo. So like, you get into social media, bruh, and then all of a sudden things take off for you and you start to produce results for others. So what are some of the like the main principles, like not giving us all the sauce, of course, that you, everybody can get over at the next level boot camp. But what are some of the main maybe principles, guidelines that you'd like to give people, especially like through your content?
Yep. Yeah. First off, I mean, the first thing is like everyone wants to, build these brands and businesses. The first thing is like, before you even get into the specifics of that is like auditing your environment, right? Like we talk about like, as soon as me and you spoke, like I knew, oh, this guy, he's on to good things. Like I would definitely love to, build with him. As soon as you mentioned the podcast, I didn't hesitate because I already could tell versus our initial conversation, the type of time you were. So like, finding like others who are, they don't have to be in the same industry as you, but they have to be like-minded in terms of like wanting progression, wanting to get to that next level. So when you're going into business, like as we know, it can get lonely out there if you don't have a platform or a group that you can get into where there's others, because that inspiration is things we need, right? Motivation, like when we listen to ET, that's cool. That's going to start you off, right? But there's going to be days where you don't have good days and you got to figure out what's going to, get you through. So then we talk about consistency. The consistency is across the board, but for the sake of what you asked me for, just like in terms of content, right? Putting out content for your brand, consistency is major key, because like if they don't know you, they can't flow you. Like how can they buy from you if they don't even know that you have products and services? And when we think of big brands, they're putting like thousands and millions of dollars in advertising. So what makes you think that you can just post once a week and it be enough? You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't make sense. So we talk about consistency a lot because that is a major key. Then we get into like strategy, like who is your ideal audience, right? Who is your ideal customer, the avatar? What do they look like? What is their revenue? What are they looking to accomplish, right? So we break that down, and then how can we convey our message, right? How can we talk to their pain points, their transformation, where they're currently at to where they desire to be. And then once we do that, then it's about generating leads, right? It's about now we leverage something called shout out pages or influencer marketing, where we use bigger platforms to funnel people into our Instagram, but our world, we'll call it, so that now we take them from someone else's and they're into what we have, and now we can generate leads on autopilot, and now we can sell more products or more services or more traffic.
Boom. So it sounded like networking on two accounts, to where you're networking with like-minded people that are also into entrepreneurship and bettering themselves. Also networking with people that may have a platform that is more influential than yours, like people that have more engagement, and it's not just about followers, but it's about engagement with the followers as well. You know what I mean? Because if you got 1 million followers, but only two, 3 people comment on your page, it doesn't matter.
Exactly. Or 2 people, like that's why I tell people the follower count is cool. It's a good vanity metric, but it's about like, I'd rather you have 1,000 followers who are into what you have going on, because that's how we're going to get conversions. That's how we're going to get consistent sales and build that community. Once you have a community, that's when you're able to really scale up in your business. So that's a great point.
Yo. And then consistency is that one thing. You know what, I'm gonna be very honest with you guys on the Drop Your Baggage podcast. I am not always the most consistent because I don't like social media like that. It's not even tough. You know what I mean? Like, to put your thoughts out there is great, but like social media, it seems to, it'll capture me, and it capture a bit of my time that I feel like is so precious.
Valuable. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, I don't like to get on the social media because I don't like to get captured into
caught up in it, right?
Yeah.
Well, I give you a quick gem since we're here.
I'll
give you a quick gem. So something quick that you and anyone can do who doesn't like being on social media throughout the week. What you do is, right, you take your Sunday, or you take, an off day where you have downtime. What you do is you create all your content on that day. Then we do something called a auto poster. So you can use something called Buffer or Facebook Creator Studio. These are platforms where you can go and set your content for the week, or even all the way up to 3 to 6 months if you want. You can set it by the day, the time. So once you set that in there, you put your captions, you don't have to even go back on. It's going to post for you. So that's a quick hack for you and anyone else who don't want to spend too much time on this. Yeah, I got you. I
really appreciate that, man.
Got you.
Yo, hey man, like the creator's so good, man. The creator's so good. Cause I was
I'm not on the gram all day. Like I'm not. Yeah, I don't even want to be on the gram half the time. But on my weekend, like a Sunday, I'll usually make them all, and then I'll set them all for the week. Only thing is, it doesn't allow you to put the reels up. So the reels, what you do is you save them in your drafts, and then whenever you're ready to post them, you can just hit the post button and you go.
Oh, you're a beast. This guy is a beast. Also, though, people also talk about how important engagement is. So replying to the comments. So is it important to reply right away, or can you like take a bit of time off and then reply later?
Well, the sooner you do reply, it is more ideal, because what it does is, the way Instagram algorithms working is, what they measure as engagement is like, okay, people sharing your post, people saving your post, and then people commenting. So when you're commenting, replying to the comments, what's happening is looking like to Instagram there's more of a conversation going. So now they're pushing it out. Also, from a personal standpoint, when you go and you reply to those comments, it gives you a personal touch, which we talked about, that know, like, and trust. So now a person feels like, oh wow, this person actually took the time to respond to me. Okay, I need to turn the notifications on because I'm coming back, right? So now you build this in. So yeah.
Very, very cool. Very cool. Last thing before we get into me serving you, how did it feel to get those first results, man? Like,
It's a good feeling, and it keeps you going. Like, even, I don't care what it is. It could be a $10 product. Like, the first time I sold a $10 product, like, it felt good. First time I sold a $50 product, it feels good. First time you sell a $100 product, it feels good. Now we can sell $1,000 mentorship program, it feels good. So what it is like you said, it's just that confidence, because oftentimes, like, we're thinking about quitting right before the breakthrough. We're taking a break. Yes. That's why I tell people, like, just show up. That's like 70% of the battle, just showing up, right? Because you never know when your breakthrough is going to come, or that first sale, or whatever it is. It definitely feels good and is rewarding.
Man, you are the man, dog. Like,
you're the man. You're the man.
Rather, the gems, like the entrepreneurial foundation that you help people provide on social media and their marketing is so important. Like, just being able to get out there in front of people and showing the value that you have, and then also them helping other people impact their lives, so they can be able to be a blessing too, man. Like,
that's the best feeling of it. Yeah, like seeing people like that can then, like, word, like, I can make money now. Like, I feel good. My business will grow. That's really what it's all about. You know what I'm saying?
100%. Oh, man. Thank you so much, Brad. So on the Drop Your Baggage podcast, we talk to people that are dope, that can bring you hope and show you a technique that can help you cope. Now, the technique that we're going to be using is a technique called mental and emotional release. It's a neuro linguistic programming technique. So I'm going to talk to the audience real quick. So with all of you all, please, if you want to experience this amazing technique, please don't try it at home yourself. Get in touch with a practitioner of neuro-linguistic programming, or go ahead and reach out to me at charleswoolfork.com. There's a form on the front, and you can go ahead and schedule an appointment to meet up with me. And for you, Darius, I want to let you know that I am not a psychologist or a therapist or a social worker or a counselor. I am an alternative to all those amazing things to help you feel outstanding. And today we are going to be releasing hurt and disappointment. We went over the bullet points of why it would be quite beneficial for you to release this. Would you go ahead and elaborate why we're releasing hurt and disappointment today?
Absolutely. Yeah. So we had touched base around, like, stemming from, like, even sports into the initial business. Like, sometimes, trust can be broken. Trust has been broken, to where me being specifically a type of person that likes to give people the benefit of the doubt. Something I had to learn was, in business or even in sports, that everyone's not always as trustworthy as we want to give them credit for. So, going through, times in sports where I felt like, man, I was disappointed. And then even into the business world and having to learn from those, it was a tough adjustment. And it's getting to a place now where it's getting better, but there are some things that, still do weigh on me mentally, and it sort of dictates the way I do business or do things with people now. And yeah, that's what we went over. And I just want to make sure that if it's something that I can get out of my system and help me get to the next level, then I wanted to make sure that we could tap into that.
Bruh, it's not an if, it's a win.
When
you're on the Drop Your Baggage podcast now.
Let's get it. You're right. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
So if you don't mind, specifically, how is it kind of dictating some of the things that you're doing within your business, feeling that negative emotion in your subconscious?
Yeah. So, like, getting burnt in business on, like, business deals, now when I do business deals with people, I feel like I'm coming into it with a mindset of hesitancy in terms of, like, trusting people. So, like, even the way I'm talking to people when doing deals, I'm sort of always I'm like overly making sure that things are a specific way, or I'm like triple checking over things, just not showing up as someone who trusts people. And that's something that I would like to eliminate and get back to where I was, where it was like, yeah, let's do it. and things like that.
Do you feel that you've ever missed out on an opportunity because of the way that you're showing up?
Yeah, I feel like, yep. I feel like absolutely. I feel like I missed out on a few opportunities just by, not that there's anything wrong with asking too many questions.
No.
But because I lack that trust, I'm like over asking. And I think absolutely I've missed out on opportunities because of that.
Yeah. In your opinion, if you could have put a number on it, how much do you think that it may have cost you because you missed out on those opportunities?
If a number sign, maybe 50,000, maybe like 50,000. Some good money. Yeah, some good money.
Sorry, I don't mean to. I was like, oh shit, let's get rid of that then.
Yeah, get rid of that like now.
Yeah, exactly. Can't
like
be costing right your bands, dog.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. All right, then let's get rid of that. So with that, all you have to do to have a profound experience is to, number one, use your imagination. Number two, follow directions, just like you follow a good recipe or Google Maps. Okay. And number three is to trust the process. Know that I'm your guide and I'll be leading you through this easily and effortlessly. And I come from a place of love and high vibration.
Okay.
And also, it's very important to make sure that you feel empathy and compassion for everyone and that you notice and really dig into the different perspectives of people throughout your life. And make sure that you communicate with those people as well. And I'll be guiding you through that as well.
Okay.
All right, cool. We're going to go ahead and create your timeline. With your timeline, your past can be to your left, to your right, or behind you. If you were to know, where's your past?
Behind me.
Where's your future?
Ahead of me.
Very good. I'm just very linear, just like mine.
I know it was a trick question. My bad.
Not at all. Look, if you think like something is weird, just roll with it. By all means, from this point on, if something feels weird, just roll with it. Cool. So let's go ahead and get into it. Is it all right with your unconscious mind for you to release this hurt and disappointment today and for you to be aware of it consciously?
Absolutely.
What is the root cause of this problem? The first event, which when disconnected, that will cause this problem to disappear. If you were to know, when was the first time that you felt hurt or disappointed between the ages of birth and 7? How old were you?
Of birth and 7?
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I don't remember that far back.
Oh, yeah. Not yet. You don't remember yet?
Yeah, not yet.
So where did you go to kindergarten?
I went to kindergarten and to Old Post. Yeah. Yep.
Old
I remember.
Old Post Road Elementary?
Yep, elementary school.
Yes. And do you remember the place that you lived in?
I lived in Dorchester, yep.
Okay. And now, do you ever remember feeling hurt or disappointed at that school or at that house in that neighborhood?
At 7, I remember playing like Pop Warner football. I was like a real like heavy set kid, so I couldn't play the positions I wanted to play, and that hurt. So yeah, that's something that did hurt. Disappointing.
That's a good one. Yeah, for sure. All right, great. Now, when you think of the times that you've been hurt or disappointed, let's go ahead and connect the mind-body connection. Think about the times that you've been hurt and disappointed over your life and tell me where you like feel it in your body.
Like physically in my body, like my head or heart. Head and heart.
Head and heart?
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. So just making sure that you are aware of those feelings as we were doing the meditation.
Okay.
Cool. All right. So with this, all you got to do is close your eyes and relax and let me know when you're ready for the process.
Okay. All right. I'm ready.
Okay. Now just keep your eyes closed until I ask you to later on. But right now, just imagine floating outside of your body as if though you were a spirit or energy. And just imagine floating above yourself right here, right now. Seeing yourself like a fly on the wall. See the dry erase board to your left, the couch to your right, the door directly behind you, the screen in front of you. Black shirt and braids. Let me know when you can see yourself from a third person point of view.
I can.
Awesome. Now, just imagine floating up above your timeline and float behind you to the past. Float deeper and deeper and deeper into the past, above that first event in which you felt disappointed when you were just a little kid, not playing the position that you wanted to. And float above and hover above that little kid, seeing them from a third person point of view like a fly on the wall. Let me know when you're there.
I'm there.
Now, just ask your unconscious mind what it needs to learn from the event, the learning of which will allow you to let go of the emotions easily and effortlessly. Your unconscious mind can preserve the learnings so that if you need them in the future, they'll be there. Just tell your unconscious mind to preserve the learnings. This is an exercise of forgiveness and acceptance. Forgiveness for yourself and others, and acceptance of yourself and others. Who do you have to forgive? What do you have to accept? Who do you have to accept? Make sure that you see from the perspective of the coaches and everyone else in that event as you focus your attention upon how hurt people We're all doing the best that we can with the resources and consciousness that we have. We can't control anyone else's actions, but we can control our response. We can grow stronger and wiser and learn from other people's actions and mistakes. Other people's actions have nothing to do with you. It's only a reflection of their baggage and whatever they're going through at the time and the circumstances at the time. And we're better people than we were when those events occurred. You're a better person than you were when those events occurred. What is something positive and empowering you can tell that little boy and everyone else involved in the event with the consciousness that you have today that will allow the emotions to evaporate like water on the concrete on a hot summer day? And as you preserve these learnings, the emotions are starting to dissipate more and more until they're all gone. Just let me know when they're all gone.
They're all gone.
Awesome. Now, with your eyes closed and you observing the event, tell me, what did you learn from the event?
That through consistency and getting rid of that hurt, you can move forward and be better.
That's right. What did you have to say to the coach?
That I forgive you. That it's not you, it's me, and it's something that I could do better so that I could eliminate that hurt. So me.
Yeah. What did you have to say to yourself as a little kid?
That your future self should know that, through consistency and through hard work, that you'll take accountability and realize that the disappointment you might have in others could be something you could have fixed within you.
I see. Very good. Very good. Awesome. Now, with the coach, see from his perspective, what was he doing when he put you in that position that you didn't necessarily want to be in?
Honestly, he was just doing his job, doing what I think he thought his job was to do, put the team in the best position to win.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever communicate your feelings to him?
Not vocally. Nope.
He would have. Do you think he would have explained to you what he was going through?
He probably would have. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's proper communication. Awesome. Now, just imagine floating up above your timeline and float behind you and float deeper and deeper and deeper into the past, above the dinosaurs during the prehistoric age. Let me know when you're above the dinosaurs. Awesome. Now, as you're above the dinosaurs, just imagine floating deeper and deeper and deeper into space to where space in the atmosphere connects. And imagine your timeline is the size of a fingernail. Let me know when you're there.
I'm there.
All right. Now just imagine floating there in space, weightless, and ask yourself now, where are the emotions? Tell me, are they there or have they disappeared? Now.
Disappeared.
Awesome. Now just imagine floating down inside the event, seeing through your own eyes as a little boy and check on the emotions. Tell me, are they there or have they disappeared? Now.
Disappeared.
Awesome. Float back above the dinosaurs and then float into space to where space in the atmosphere connects. Let me know when you're there.
I'm there.
All right, listen closely. Float very, very high above your timeline, above each and every event in which you felt hurt and disappointed from birth until now in chronological order. Don't skip one event that has a charge on it. Preserve the learnings and let go of all the hurt and disappointment all the way back to now. Focus your attention upon how important communication is.
Tell myself that it's going to be all right. Just stay consistent, be accountable. You're in control.
That's right. As you preserve these learnings, the emotions are starting to dissipate more and more until they're all gone. Just let me know when they're all gone.
They're all gone.
All right. You can go ahead and float down into your body and open your eyes when you're ready. Welcome back.
Yo, feel like a new person.
Yeah.
That's crazy. How you do that? You have to teach me that. Yeah, that felt great. I feel good. I felt like a weight's been lifted off my shoulders.
Yeah. All right. Let's test it first and then let's get into it. Mm-hmm. So do you smell chicken?
No.
All right. I asked that to get your mind off the meditation.
Oh, okay.
Can you remember a time in the past in which you used to feel that old emotion? And go back and notice if you can feel it, or you may find that you cannot.
Nope.
Awesome. I want you to go out into the future, to an unspecified time in the future, to which if it would have happened in the past, you would have felt inappropriate, hurt, or disappointment. But it's the future now. So see if you can find that old emotion, or you may find that you cannot.
Nope.
Congratulations. You just released hurt and disappointment.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay.
That's
so so tell me how you feel about like what happened in the past with the nightlife.
Feel like it's in the past. Like we learn from it, move forward. We communicate better. Most importantly, we just grow from there.
Yeah. Did you see from those people's point of views from back then?
Absolutely. Communication. Yeah. Lack thereof.
Big time. So would that help you have forgiveness for them or acceptance of what happened or what happened?
Yeah, absolutely. I think knowing that, part of it is my fault, not communicating, then I have really no choice but to empathize with that or, forgive them for anything. It's based on my skewed perspective because I didn't communicate.
So you took a personal responsibility, and therefore you were able to say like, oh, well, they can it's not necessarily on them 100%.
Exactly.
I got to take responsibility for what I needed to do.
Exactly.
Wow. Wow. So with that personal responsibility, was it easier for you to take on because of the person that you are? Or?
Absolutely. I think it's definitely easier. The person I am now, and looking back, once you said the communication thing, it made a lot of sense kind of instantaneously. So yeah, knowing that I'm don't hold anything against those people or whatever the hurt came from.
Yeah. Yeah. How do you feel about your coaches now for the things that may have happened or the things that happened for you in college?
I hold no grudges. I feel like again, it could have been, I could have communicated better or more
Mhm,
efficiently. So
mhm.
feel a
Yeah.
lot better.
Wow. Wow. So tell us about that weight being lifted off your shoulders or like you feeling lighter. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it feels like okay, now I can move forward with more clarity, less baggage, which means I can perform optimally, I guess, in whatever future endeavors, and I don't have to think in the back of my mind like, what if this person is doing this or out to get me or whatever it may be. So I can move with a better conscience, a more clear conscience.
Beautiful, beautiful. Is there anything that comes to mind that you can do in the future to help you communicate better when you develop or as you're developing these relationships?
Yeah, really just making sure that I am communicating fully, right? In terms of, feelings, maybe even talking about briefly on the past and giving reasoning why I may operate a certain way. And then that
Mm,
gives someone a more well-rounded understanding of me and vice versa.
that's awesome. And then that amount of transparency is
Yeah,
also going to build trust as well. You always talk about
absolutely.
trust. That's big.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
I love it. I love it. So like with you moving now in the future, that'll definitely be a bit quite beneficial for you for your business.
Hmm.
Has it did the hurt and disappointment ever hinder you in relationships at all? I mean, not just business relationships, but like
In general.
not or just romantic,
Hmm.
family, personal, like friends and everything.
Yeah, I'm always absolutely. I'm always been more sort of like reserved, like not as not always been, I'm sorry, since like feeling that
Yeah.
kind of distrust in people. Yeah, always kind of second guessing things, always over, not always, but oftentimes overthinking, maybe thinking of scenarios that maybe aren't there. So absolutely, they've been
Mm.
horrible, yep, relationships.
Yeah, yeah. Do you see yourself changing in those relationships now that we've gone through this process?
Absolutely. I'll go into it with a different mindset, a mindset of communication and transparency being priority, so that again we talked about that trust and just being better on my end.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, like you were so enthusiastic that it caught me off guard when you got done. You're like, wow,
Yo, I
how'd you
was
do that?
like, how you do that? Like what? Like what? I feel like I just shedded a whole layer. Like it was crazy.
Hell no. I
It
was
was
like,
crazy.
I know you're not like full of shit, but I'm like, is he flogging
Nah,
right
no, no,
now?
no.
Like,
I'm not. I'm like,
nah.
yo, you had told me about it. And I'm like, I mean, we'll see. I'm always open to it. Then when we did it, I came out. I'm like, whoa, like that's crazy. Feel like a new person.
Yeah,
Crazy.
yeah. Once you change your perspective upon things, and especially
Mhm.
you, like you're a very go-getter. Like I in the disc assessment, you're probably you're def. I could see you being a D. You know what I mean? In the disc assessment. You familiar with that?
No, I'm not.
Oh, so it's like a go get 'em, aggressive type, also a very
Okay.
good leader, but like no time for games. Like let's go progress and let's go
Yeah,
get
it
it.
sounds about right.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's
So
no way.
like with like this being out of your way, you
Mhm.
just seem like somebody that's just gonna like flourish even more because of this.
I appreciate that. No,
Oh
thank you for this. This
yeah,
was dope.
hell yeah, hell
Needed
yeah,
it. Needed it.
yeah, yeah,
Definitely needed
bro.
it.
You just never know. Like I mean, of course you know, but
Mhm.
also you don't know how to get this stuff out of your
How to,
way as well.
yeah, yeah, like how to go about it. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
We always hear it, but the action steps, yeah, action steps is definitely move.
100%, 100%, bro. Thank you so much for showing up for
I
your divine
appreciate
appointment,
you.
dog.
Absolutely. Now this was dope. This was super dope.
Thank you, thank you. So, with that, please give us and give me in the audience one more word of wisdom, if you will.
Absolutely. It's a new year. Everyone set out your goals, but more importantly, set action steps, right? Like, you know, we're all setting goals. It's new year, new me. I want to do this, but like, what are the actual steps that you're taking to make sure that you achieve those? Because a goal without a plan is just a dream, right? So, you know, just one gem for everyone. Write out those action steps and get started ASAP.
Yo, you know, you being the person that you are, man, like it's super inspiring. It's like consistency. Get to it. Everything's on me. Personal responsibility, right? Like, yo, it's that's motivating as hell. I gotta go get to work on something right now. I don't know what it is, but I'm just kidding.
I appreciate you, man. This is super dope. Definitely. Let me know whenever the episode's done, and I'll throw it up on my platform for sure. So let me know.
Definitely will. Getting it done ASAP too. So thank you for showing up for your divine appointment. And I'm going to talk to the audience. Thank you guys so much for your attention and your support. And, you know, if you listen to this podcast, just know that I love you all so much for all of that. Please consider hitting the like and subscribe button if you're on YouTube or Facebook. And if you're on a podcast platform, give a brother 5 stars and some feedback as well. And right here on the Drop Your Baggage podcast, where we talk to people that are dope, that can bring you hope and show you a technique that can help you cope. I am your host, the self-talk engineer, Charles Woolfork, and our amazing guest that dropped this baggage. Oh, congratulations, by the way. You are officially a baggage dropper.
Let's get it. Baggage dropper. Let's get it.
That's Darius Benders, ladies and gentlemen. And with that, until next time, take care of yourself and take care of one another. Peace.